We're going to talk about the crazy hidden cuts of 1917 and how they made it look like there was no cuts.
Hey everyone, welcome back to AsArt with Nick and John. So 1917 blew our minds when we saw the edits or the perceivable lack thereof. And so there was a video released kind of going through and saying there's a cut here, there's a cut here, there's a cut here. And so from a visual effects standpoint and editing standpoint, Nick and I just wanted to talk about it. So when you saw that video, what did you think? Like, I still couldn't believe that some of them were still cuts.
You know, I realized they use 3D models for the people at times. Like there was that one scene where like when they jump into like one of the first little like holes in the ground
right?
after but it wasn't like a trench, it was like a hole, you know what I mean? Maybe from like an explosion or something like that. And you can tell now that I look at it, you can tell where the model like kind of like they have a 3D model and then they connected it to him jumping in and they have like a same camera movement kind of thing. And but like the ones that are obvious is obviously when it dips to black. You know what I mean? Or like something fills the screen up so much where it's practically black and then it, you know, then you go to the other side. Or when they do quick turns. I think there's one where like the one dude's talking and they go whoop, and you can like see the motion blur happening. And then it talks to the other one. You know, it's really cool though. It's so cool. Like it's like old school techniques that what's his name used?
Alfred Hitchcock?
Right. Doesn't he have like he did like a whole movie where there's like no cuts?
It's called Rope. Yeah.
Thank you. Look, that's why he's on the show, people. He's so smart. But you know what I mean?
I just saw it recently. Yeah. But that was just in an apartment. They were just moving around an apartment building.
I mean, obviously, this is like crazy.
This miles
is crazy
of terrain. But some of the cuts still, like there's this one where the camera's rotating around one of the main actors and he's holding his gun. And I don't think there was a digital double in there at all. And they're not, the camera's not being obstructed. And it just, they're like, there's a cut. I'm like, there is, like, you know, some of them are still so well. So to me, part of me thinks, and I can be completely wrong, on some of these shots, maybe they have motion control cameras, but I don't know how they would just keep it going after that. I don't think so. Because some of these shots where, like you said, they're passing in front of people. Okay, well, how would you get the people to stay in the same spot unless they were CG people in the foreground? That's a possibility. This really drives home, seeing some of these cuts, that there is a lot of visual effects in this, because the only thing on certain ones I would think is they had to really shoot at really high resolution, like, and then they would be able to crop in, and then they could manually line up and probably have to do like a mesh warp to make the slight perspective difference if they are hand holding it, to have them merge together perfectly. Like even when they go behind a rock or things like that, or behind people, they have to try and make it line up as well as they can, because there's no, like, sometimes when you go behind something and then you do a cut, it like jumps. You see like a jump in one frame to the next. Yeah. And you could do a blend, but you usually see a blend. So I'm guessing they were going in there, lining up these frames and then cropping in and actually doing like a mesh grid warp to actually have things matched. I don't know. Again, this is one of those movies that I'm so excited to see on a Blu-ray with all the special features. And honestly, just seeing the cut video, I was remembering how beautiful the movie is itself. Just, I'm excited to see this movie again. Like I really am.
No, it's really something else. Like, I mean, I know they got like a prototype camera. He basically, they needed a small ultra high res camera and nothing was out there on the market. And then it was a prototype actually. And they're like, oh my gosh, can we use this prototype? And they bought like so many cameras of the prototype and they used it for this film.
Do you know what company it was by?
I'll put it here with the text.
I'm assuming it's one of the big players.
And then I'll also link that video in our description of the
it's a great video to watch, because they say cut and then you're just like,
oh, I'll also link that one. But there's one where the cinematographer is talking about the camera. And it shows
perfect.
And it shows like them like running with the camera and like latching onto a crane. It goes up and someone else is on the other side and they pick up the camera and they keep walking. It's just like, what the heck? It's like a dance routine.
Real nice that he's telling you guys about this and he hasn't sent me to watch it yet. What a jerk. What's going on here, man?
It's amazing, John.
I'm excited to see it. You'll have to send that to me too.
Yeah,
I'll have to check the link of our own video for me to look.
And they've been interviewing him a lot lately, obviously because of the film and stuff. But it's just so cool that the technology used in this, because like the whole idea, like it's talk about like at the right time, right moment, like a camera that's made for it. It's just like Toy Story, right? A 3D program that's able to render something like that was like, whoa, boom, you know what I mean? Then like takes off. It's just like that perfect timing for everything. So.
And it's one of those things too, to where in a video we just shot recently, we were talking about the CG creatures in was it Into the Wild? What's it called?
Yeah. Oh,
and
The Call of the Wild.
Call of the Wild. They took a chance on using all CG creatures, and it didn't quite pay off. At least it doesn't look like it does based off trailer, but that's not final footage probably. But here they made what I would consider even a much crazier decision to make it look like it's almost one seamless shot throughout the entire movie. And it completely works. Now, again, that could come down to budgetary issues and planning issues
and story
and things like that, and
like
story.
Keeping the story relatively simple. You know, we sometimes will get groups of people, but most of the film is two guys. Spoiler, one guy. You know what I mean? It's just, you know what I mean? Like the guys that you follow kind of thing. And then like even when he's in the city at night, you maybe see like 5 other people. You know what I mean? And then he jumps into the river. And then we have the epic shots at the end where there's a lot of people and stuff. But like, it's storytelling's everything too. So you can get it to work at moments and stuff like that.
But there are a lot of shots with a lot of people. I mean, there's shots where there's whole groups of guys sitting on the ground getting briefed for this big push they're going to do. And they move the camera around. It's just like, oh my gosh. Again, like if you guys haven't seen us talking about the movie right after we saw it, that'd be a fun one to watch, because you'll see my brains just oozing out of my ear trying to just like, how did they do that? You know, with these cuts and things like that. Yeah.
They did such a great job. We also did a review on the film too.
My biggest takeaway was it was fun to see where cuts happen, but until we have like the actual breakdowns where we actually see them doing it and all the things went into it. Like honestly, this, without people knowing and without us, you know, you and I even knowing how much work went into it, this might have been even over, you know, Endgame and all these crazy visual effects movies. It might have been very, very worthy of best visual effects, because to make everything blend together so perfectly, to make it look seamless to where you don't notice it is maybe hardest. When you make a CG Thanos and you can push in and see the pores, that's amazing. But when you make it to where you don't even know the stuff is there, that's the hardest. So to me, even knowing where the cuts are now, it's still even more impressive.
Yeah, and that's good visual effects work, right? You're doing your job if they don't even know there's visual effects. Like which
can be very frustrating.
You know, if it doesn't take you out of the film, if it takes you out of the film, like if something with the Hulk was off, and you know right away it's a CG character or whatever, it takes you out of the movie if for some reason, or whatever movie it is. It can be Justice League takes you out of the movie. Oh my gosh, the thing looks terrible. Dude, we should totally break down Justice League. Everything in Justice League looks terrible. Anyways, it's just they just try to rip off Avengers. Anyways, they also went with the Cube story. Anyways. They also did a team up. Anyways, no. Anyways, let's get back to us.
So hey guys, so check out 1917. Check out our other videos on that where we're talking about it. If you like our content, please click on subscribe so you can get more videos in the future. We've been doing about 3 a week. We also have podcasts we put out about twice a week. So head over to asart.space. That's where you can get the audio content, the video content, and any other information we put out. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you on the next AsArt.